Go. All right, here we go.
There we
Welcome
go.
back to another episode of the Perfectly Me podcast. Good Lord, it has been a long time, and there's only one way for me to come back is to talk wrestling. I got my man Big Lou up in the building. Play the sound
Yes,
effect.
sir.
Play the sound effect. Ah, and, and and last time we had Ray, but to be honest, we kind of kicked him out. So we found a very suitable replacement, big in the El Segundo market. Uh, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Thank you. It's a very big honor to be here. Once again, I am very well known in Latin America, especially El Segundo, which is where I hail from. I am El Santana.
El Santana. El
El
Santana in the
Santana,
building.
absolutely. I'm a luchador, and I travel all over the world, and I'm here to offer some opinions and perspectives from the luchadors' frame of reference.
Perfect, perfect. We need that because I'm a mat wrestler myself. More of a technician, so to speak. Lou, what would you classify yourself as? You luchador?
Well, like my cousin Ray like to say, I'm an armchair wrestler.
Yes, yes,
I like to watch it from my couch.
yes.
I am by no means a technical. I'm a rudo. I'm a heel.
Oh, straight heels, straight.
That's it.
Straight
No technical. I don't know. I don't do. I'm strictly rudo.
Heel take. Actually, I'm a manager. You know what? If you need a promo guy, let's talk business.
Yeah, man.
Because that's the gig. I walk around in a suit, talk trash, and have somebody else do my dirty work for me. Why
Very
not?
nice.
Yeah,
Very
man.
nice. Very nice.
Paul Heyman's been doing it right. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man.
All
Make
right.
Make it a case for being one of the best.
Oh man, there's two in my list, and he's one of two.
Absolutely.
The other one I think is very, very. I think he's better, but that's
Who?
The Brain.
Bobby the Brain's the greatest. Bobby the Brain that might be the greatest single performer in wrestling because he was a great wrestler, he was a great manager, he was a great commentator. Everything he did, he did it to perfection.
Yes,
I agree 1,000%. You see that little viral clip of Paul Heyman said?
When he was with
Stephen A.
Smith?
Yeah, he was on.
I saw it, yeah.
That was good.
Bobby Heenan's dead.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, yeah, man, he kind of. But that's Paul Heyman for you, man.
Stayed in character. When he was what did he say? Jimmy Hart's still alive, so God hasn't answered my wishes yet.
Heenan, the other thing about Heenan was he could bump. Like when he'd take a bump, he flopped it all over it was very fantastic. Heyman can't take a bump. That's his only,
it's disgusting.
But Bobby the Brain, he entertained us so much. It was amazing.
How long did he wear that neck brace for?
Oh, and come on, I don't know how you guys were, but Monday night, him and Gorilla, Monday night, primetime wrestling.
That's top tier.
I loved watching those two go at it.
Top tier.
Yeah.
That was
hilarious.
His last one there, he got kicked out of the.
He always had He always had the telephone there, and he'd call people when Gorilla would say something. Goes, "I'm fired. You're fired." And you get on the phone and start calling people. The whole show, he's calling people saying, "I need to speak to the president of the USA Network."
That's amazing.
Love Bobby the Brain, man.
That Bobby the Brain. This would be a Bobby the Brain tribute, but we're not here gathered here to talk about Bobby the Brain. We are here to talk about a little SummerSlam. SummerSlam Detroit is the biggest party of the summer, some may call it.
Yeah.
Take it for what it's worth. But we are, going to talk a little wrestling. It's been a minute. Last WrestleMania. Well, no. Last year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, last year, yeah.
Brock Roman.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We didn't even cover the next WrestleMania.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, man.
But it's out here hustling, man.
But a lot of stuff. You were going through a lot of stuff. I was going through a lot of stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. Just finally moved in this little area here.
We all had a lot of major stuff.
Life is life.
Sir.
And here we are to talk about some wrestling. So let's start it off with, speaking of luchador, as a luchador, you would probably appreciate this match. Logan Paul defeats Ricochet. Thoughts?
Well, listen, it's weird to watch what I would call, I mean, you can't call him a civilian, but he is. And he comes in and he might be top 5 best wrestler in the company. I ain't never seen or heard of anybody coming in and do what he does. He's a natural heel.
Yes.
It's like, you know, he don't need no. I watch him and I just sit there and go, makes you wonder how many other athletes out there could do this, but you know, it can't. He's once, you'll never see him again because he's unbelievable. Now, granted, working with Ricochet, who's a good friend of mine as a luchador.
Y'all trained together, right?
That's right. That's right. Me and Ricochet went to different schools together.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. And so the point is that you're working with him, you know, you look good. He made me look good many times. But the point is that Logan Paul is just, that was crazy. That might have been best match. I mean, for an opening match, I don't know if there's a better opening match I've ever seen in a pay-per-view.
That was just the little looks he gives to the camera that just lets you know, like, okay, he's got something.
He's sick. I don't know who's coaching him, who his agent is, but he's gold. And now I don't like the super spots, you know, like it was a spot fest a bit, you know, but still good, still great, still amazing.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. He's a natural talent, man. You know, there's not too many guys that come from, you know, Hollywood and just completely come in there and take over. I was impressed from the beginning, man. I was impressed. That's great. To open it up with that, I loved it. I loved it. It was a great way to open. Those two really feed off each other very well, man. I have no complaints about that match.
Not at all. That should be how every show gets kicked off. Like that. You want a match to get the crowd going and just take a shot for every flip that was done in that match. Woo.
There were some things I don't even know. I didn't want to see the replay because it just looked like they were so dangerous. But you know, the industry is so athletic, and I would say they're at the highest level of that athleticism.
Yeah. I would like to see that feud keep going, and I want to see some more of them two together, man.
I'll get them in like a stipulation match of some sort, just to watch them do just Ricochet hitting that 630 on the back and just But
even at the Rumble, man, when they did that it was botched, and Ricochet still made it look nice, you know.
I would like to see more. I hate to see Ricochet as a sort of a gatekeeper. He's his, you know, to me, that's another guy I would be pushing. If there was a cruiserweight belt per se, I'd just put it on him and let him have it for about 2-3 years and let him put in nobody can touch him, you know.
No.
Yeah. I don't like how they did him when he had the Intercontinental belt, man. It kind of was like a flash in the pan type of deal. Like nobody really remembers him being the Intercontinental champion.
Yeah.
Nobody knows really. Like the thing I've noticed with WWE is they don't know how to do guys that work. Like because it's a lot story based. So if they can't carry their own story on the mic, they're just like, let's just put them in a match, be a 4-star match, and keep it moving.
I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more of them together. But Logan Paul, man, is unbelievable talent. He's a natural athlete, man. You know, I know he's never won, you know, boxing match, but I was impressed when he fought against Floyd, you know. But I'm not a big Floyd guy anyway. But you know, I like the Paul brothers. I don't have any problems with them.
Hey, make that money. That's all I'm saying. But go make that money.
That's it.
Make it,
man. He came in here. I'm sorry. He came in here. Logan Paul came in here didn't disrespect the game. You know, he did his he did his research. I listened to his podcast, and you know, he did his research. He you know, looked up the greats. He learned that frog splash pretty damn good. You know, he's definitely he definitely impressed me by knowing who the greats were and some of the history behind it, and so willing to learn the game the way it is now. You know,
even just something as simple as like he comes out in actual ring gear. Like he's not coming out like a cutoff shirt and some shorts. He's not coming out.
Yeah.
He has actual ring gear.
He's as good as anybody in the company, and I just never seen, you know, what we call a civilian. He comes in, and now, you know, you could argue, man, he's top 10 wrestler. It's just crazy. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
Easy. Yeah. Speaking of top 10 wrestlers, next match we have Cody Rhodes defeats Brock Lesnar. Okay, so before, I thought after the match, because you know how Brock Lesnar kind of can just does his own thing. When he took off the gloves after the match, I was like, he's about to whoop his ass in front of everybody. And then
I took it. Yeah, I took it. I know Michael Cole was in the back. Was saying, "Oh, he took his gloves off. He's ready for a fight. You know, he takes his gloves off when he's ready." But to me, I thought like that was his way of, you know, how wrestlers when they retire, they put the boots down. Mm-hmm. I thought that. Oh wow, is he about to retire? You know, that's the way I took it at first.
Yeah, you know, the whole card. There's 3 people that you got to wonder. You know. I'm only from the armchair, like Lucito. I don't go on and look and see what the contract status are of certain wrestlers, you know, because then because that gives away how the finishes are going to go. So I try to stay away from that. So I don't know what the status is, but when you see certain matches ended, and we'll get into the other 2 that I think tell you something. This was a match that made me say either Brock is not done by any means, but he's taking a break.
Yeah,
and
that's what I followed up with.
There's not a lot for him. It was a surprising match in that, you know, it's kind of like Cody had to earn the respect of WWE. They wouldn't let him beat Roman. They're going to build him back up slowly, and you know, he did 3 finish moves on Brock, clean pin, took all Brock had to offer. I would have liked a couple of pin attempts by Brock, where Cody kicked out instead of crawling back into the ring every 10 seconds. But I don't think fans could have bought a kick out on all those moves. So, but what that told me was, you know, that Brock, you know, there's, you know, if he's going to leave for an extended period of time, you know, he's going to wait to see if some of these other guys don't make it, and then Vince will say, "Hey, I need you to come back and you know, make somebody." I just think that was a making of Cody, and Brock did a wonderful job. For what the purpose of the match was, I call this the best match of the night for what its intended purpose is to do. Every match has an intended purpose. This was the match that I said, okay, this is building Cody even further. And you can't go anywhere with Brock. So Brock's probably taking a step back, go back to to North Dakota, and we'll see Brock later. However, based on the main event, which we'll get to, I have an idea, but I'll hold that for later.
Yeah, I like what they done with Cody. I liked everything. They made him lose. They built it and he earned it. And yeah, and just solidified by Brock shaking his hand, because he don't do that.
Oh yeah, that was strong. That was strong, and I don't think Brock's ever done that.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Now, real quick, because we got to go back a year when Cody lost to Roman. Were you guys upset about that?
No, I wasn't.
The main event. I was surprised. No. I would have bet the house that was going to happen, and you know, Solo interfered and cost Cody the match. And I said, well, geez, where do you go from that? That's kind of like a Lex Luger Yokozuna situation. But looks like, you know, the WWE's funny about bringing talent in. They don't want to shoot them too far to the moon. Now they're making them earn it, and that's that telling the story thing. So That's the story that I think leads towards the bloodline. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you, TJ, what they're doing with Cody Rhodes, because when he first came back, I was like, oh, they're gonna take him and shoot him straight to the top, and they've done, before with big names or whatever. But and it seemed that way at first, but then when they kind of brought him down, then he got injured, of course, or whatever. But the way they're planning it out, the way there's that slow build, I think probably about a year or two from now, he's going to be the champ, and he's going to be out of here. You know what I mean? If he's not already, but he's going to go. It's gonna be real big for him. He's going to have a big couple years coming up.
Yeah, they know, because that's what they
kind of. I'm sorry,
no,
but
go ahead.
if you watch Raw last night, they kind of, did a little back and forth with him and Seth Rollins. So, I'm kind of thinking that maybe there's something cooking up with them two.
Well, it's kind of like they know the formula. If you come in and push somebody to the moon, then the fans are going to start booing you, even though
it's forced. It's kind of forced.
Exactly.
And it's forced, and it's like, So no, I like how they built that adversity that people could follow. I like it.
Right.
And
I like it.
And another thing, which will go a common theme on this card, if you really want to get over, just have a song that people can chant with. That's it. If you can do that, just find something that people can sing along with. Status right there.
Hey man, I had my phone at one point had Fandango as my bell tone. That's how much, and I was in love with Fandango. I said, that's the music. That's it. And so, he got over for a while,
That's it. I'm telling you, if you have a sing-along, you'll get pushed. Speaking of getting pushed, the winner of the Slim Jim Battle Royal, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you. Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm all for that, man.
I tell you what, following him when he was Eli Drake, and even his first run in NXT when he got booted, and just watching him in Impact, and then like the whole thing, I'm so glad for this dude, because he's like my age, and go get a bag, man. Go get a bag.
Yeah,
I have to be honest, even though I've been all over the world wrestling, I've never seen him until he showed up here. I knew he was in Impact, but he was a little off my radar. They got an interesting situation, WWE, and history doesn't go towards his advantage because he's in his early 40s. That they would rather take a young guy, mold them, and get everything they can get out of him, so that by the time you're 40, they can slow you down like John Cena and Orton and Edge. This guy is over like no one we've seen in, I don't know when, maybe Austin Rock. The question is, are they going to make short money, or are they going to just, I have a theory that they're going to give the fans a little bit of love because people love him, and he is a talent. But I got a feeling, say for instance, coming Mania, that'll be his moment to beat Theory. In other words, they're going to give him secondary belts.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to ever, unless I see him as a guy that they're going to like, yeah, we know we got something here, and he outsells the merchandise and he pops the rating, but we ain't going to the moon with him. But what we'll do is have him chase Theory. And people will be happy with that. We won't ever see him on Friday night interrupting Roman Reigns and saying, hey, let me talk to you. But believe it or not, there ought to be some thought to that. They've never had anybody like this before. But they just don't know. They just don't do organic growth. They like to pick their people. And I've seen too often with Daniel Bryan and RVD, historically guys that should have been shot all the way to the moon, and they just gave them a little, we're going to give you IC, we'll give you tag, we'll give you a shot at the belt, but you ain't covering. So we're going to see, because I don't think the company has ever gotten behind somebody who's definitely talented, but is long in the tooth. And in the world of wrestling, being in your 40s, you're accomplished. You know everything you need to know. Just, but you don't, the way the athleticism is, you're not going to be able to go like wrestlers did back in the day in your 50s. It just can't. The body doesn't hold up anymore. They're doing serious bumps. So I'm fascinated to see what they do with him. The Battle Royal kind of showcased him, but not terribly. Eliminating Miz was anybody eliminates Miz is a hero.
Yeah,
that's what makes Miz so great.
Yeah, that's a cheap pop right there. Eliminate
That's
Miz.
a cheap pop. That's exactly right.
That's a cheap pop all day.
Sorry,
so we'll see, but mark my words, I'd be very surprised if I think they're just going to slowly give fans he's going to interrupt. He's going to be an upper mid card, and he's going to be that kind of guy that will take on Gunther or possibly Theory. And what's wrong with that? But the point is, they will monitor and make sure, like we used to say as a kid, someone's going to put a brick on him, make sure he don't grow too big.
Yeah.
What's that? Gunther?
I'm not a big Gunther guy.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll save it for there.
I agree with that, man. I definitely see him getting the U.S. belt, beating Austin, and then possibly a few with Gunther, and hopefully he takes the belt away from him. And I can see him being the Intercontinental Champion. But if they did give him a big belt, I think it'll be against Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Or
that's a
that
good
belt. You know what I
mean?
Yeah, it'll be that belt. That belt was made for people like LA Knight. It's like, I'm not at this level.
Yeah.
But I can be right here and still get a major title, and it counts.
Yeah.
That's what that's for.
Now
I like LA Knight, man. I'm with Ray on this one. I'm sorry.
Who? No, not Ray.
I mean, not Ray.
Not Ray. Say the man's name. Acknowledge him.
Say my name. Acknowledge me.
What was it again? El Santana.
El Santana.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
I didn't come all this way to be called. Yeah.
Yeah, I would never forget that again, sir. Sorry about that.
Respect his name.
LA Knight, man. What was I gonna say, man? You got me sidetracked now, man.
I think you were saying this is the first you've seen of him.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I don't even know how to watch Impact.
In my defense, when I said I watched him on Impact, that was back when Impact was on cable.
Oh, yeah.
I remember it being on TNT. It used to be on TNN or whatever it was back in that when when Flair was all there and Hogan was all there. I watched it then because it was on regular cable. But now I don't even know how to watch that. But social media is really pushing LA Knight, man. Like I remember getting on TikTok or whatever and seeing a bunch of highlights of him, and even then, this is what, like maybe 2 years ago, and they were like, man, pretty much pushing him then,
Just a couple. Just a couple more things about him, because it's interesting. When he came in the WWF, he was jobbed out.
Yeah,
he was not being handled well. They had a different name for him. He was a manager for some,
the models,
right? The effeminate models and stuff.
Maximum male models.
Yeah, then he was working with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Then he was working with Bray Wyatt, which is always death. Nobody gets out of that alive. And he got over still.
Yeah.
So this is not like a fluke. Nobody should call it a fluke, because when you see what he's gone through, and he's still getting people going crazy, this is special. This is special. I don't think he's incredible ring mat worker.
No, he's not. That's not his gimmick. That's okay.
But he's got the mic. He's got the personality. They got to be careful with him, because he can't go 30 minutes and work a match like Shawn Michaels or anything like that. But he is something that, like I said, the company's never had somebody like this before. But in spite of all they've done to him, which was, they treated him like, like a jobber. He's getting over, and now they're paying attention.
I'm gonna tell you, and then we'll move on from this, because you mentioned earlier, this is his year so far. Royal Rumble, they have that gimmick Mountain Dew match or something with Bray Wyatt.
That was a brutal in the dark.
in the dark, and
Yeah.
then not on WrestleMania at all.
Right. In LA.
In LA. On LA night.
That's like having a match in El Segundo and you don't have El Santana there. That's an insult.
That's
fire the booker.
That's it.
Fire that booker. But through all of that, like you said, he is. I mean, this is attitude era pops he's getting. Like this is.
Yeah.
But same thing like with the theme song. If you could find that catchphrase that people can chant with, you're gonna get over.
Yeah. And you know, I was talking to my cousin Ray. I wish he was here, you know, to, you know, go over the conversation we had on the phone. But you know, Kevin Nash, you know, you heard of the little clip. He has a podcast, and he brought up the fact that, you know, LA Knight is biting off The Rock and Stone Cold, and you know, when he said that, I was like, you know what? I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. It's there. Yeah. But you know what? That's fine with me. I like
wrestling.
It's getting over is getting over.
How many times has the NWO storyline been played out before? How many times has the Austin McMahon "I hate my boss" been played out before?
Or the Montreal screw job.
The Montreal screw job, or people ripping off Ric Flair, or Ric Flair ripping off Buddy
Rogers.
Buddy Rogers, like
it's part of it. And like two of the biggest stars in wrestling, Jesse the Body Ventura and Hulk Hogan, where'd they bite that off of? Like just 2 years before, Superstar Billy Graham. You go watch Superstar Billy Graham matches in the early 70s, and you go, that's Hulk Hogan. That's Jesse the Body Ventura. And they're the first to tell you, yeah, we took it.
Yeah, man. That's what
Kevin Nash is really wrong because he's lost time, because it's been 20 years. It's been 20 some years since Rock. I mean, here we are. Rock was around. It's been 20 years now.
And he didn't have a long run.
He didn't. Nor did Austin. And the point is, if you were to go back to 1998 and 99, okay, when Rock was doing his thing, okay, and you go back 20 years from that, and you find a guy in Memphis wrestling called Austin Idol, okay, who Rock has been quoted in interviews saying, "I took everything from him." So, you know, we lose track of time. And so we go, wow, you're stealing from The Rock. Well, The Rock stole from Austin Idol. Did Austin Idol get any residual checks? You go YouTube some Austin Idol matches and promos, and it's The Rock. And
even the word jabroni, he took it for the Sheik.
Right. And Dwayne Johnson and his family were living in Memphis. They were watching that stuff at that time when they were kids, you know, and his father was working that territory. So everything gets borrowed.
Yeah.
The point is, and we tell this to all the guys in the locker room, getting over is getting over.
Get over. I mean, like a rap reference, Lou, if you hear somebody say something hot, but then you spit it to a different audience, if it's hot, it's hot. Like
that's it.
That's it. Right. It don't matter. Speaking of great promo work the next match is Shayna Baszler going over Ronda Rousey. The one thing I will say, actually two things I'll say, and then I'll let you guys fill in. This might be the only storyline I've ever seen where the person who turned on the tag team partner was the face.
Yeah, it made no sense to this day.
It made no sense. And then I was initially like excited. I will say this though, the build-up and everything was terrible, but the package they played on the Monday night on the Raw before SummerSlam, if they would have led with that, I might have been hooked. Because that, when they start talking about her kids and I'm her godmom.
Yeah, it's real personal.
I don't want to tap out your mom. Like, if they would have started with that, but having them battle back and forth on the mic, come on, man.
Yeah, they made it seem personal, you know, and you're right. I agree with that. You're right. I didn't look at it like that way, but still a snooze fest. Man,
it was.
I was ready to get my CPAP machine and hook it up, man.
It was bad. They tried, but God bless, that was bad.
Well, this is the second match I told you. There's 3 matches. This is the second match where you, from the armchair, you know Ronda's gone. And that she was doing a favor for her friend because they worked together and she's gone. There's no coming back from that. And I think there's a lesson to be learned. WWE probably, in retrospect, are going to say no more tough guy women. We want Bianca Belairs. We want Sasha Banks. We want Becky Lynch's. This kind of match and this type of wrestler, albeit if it was a real shoot, would kick everybody's rear end.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But you can't book that in wrestling. It doesn't work in pro wrestling. And in pro wrestling, you want some beauty. You want young girls to go, man, look at her. I like the jewelry she's wearing. I like that outfit. I like the way she colors her hair. There's nothing, let's be honest. These are hardened, kick-ass UFC women. It was an experiment, and Ronda Rousey, you had to push her to the moon, and they didn't. It was on and off. She switched face. I don't even know where she was. The Baszler turn at I forgot the pay-per-view made no sense.
Money in the Bank, yeah.
Money in the Bank. I sat there. I said, "What? Did I miss something?" I had to keep playing it back because I thought I went. I said, "What?" And in the end, if you're not going to take a woman like this with that background and push them like Brock, then you can't have them.
Yeah.
And then you just got to go back to the female diva wrestlers that you see now that are very athletic, but there's a great element of showmanship and beauty behind them. I don't know what's going to be left for Baszler, but she's going to be probably a brute. And then, I guarantee you she'll be jobbing. They're not going to do much with her.
No. When they said work MMA, I thought they were going to bring back out the Lions Den.
This was Mr. T and Roddy Piper WrestleMania 2. It wasn't a boxing match. It was
no,
work.
It was not.
It looked bad. It looked bad.
Yeah, that's not. No.
I don't even. I can't tell you like anything about that match. I might have been on Instagram or something, or in the bathroom boo-booing or something.
It wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be good. It was a wrap up, and I think you ain't going to see Ronda Rousey in the WWE again. There's no reason to even bring her back. If she came back, nobody would pop. They'd be like,
not for nothing though. I did like her when she first got there, and maybe after a couple years of being there. But then it did get kind of, like, all right, it lost its luster. That whole thing with Rock and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, that when she came out, that was awesome. I loved that.
That was a good match, but that was sports entertainment. If you really want her to work what she can do, you can't, because she'd beat everybody.
Yeah. She tap out. That's snooze fest. Yeah, that was bad. Sorry. I mean, I say that with all due respect, because they will.
It was
8 seconds.
I'll be done. They both to beat my
ass. Match was bad. On to Lou's favorite wrestler, Gunther, defeating Drew McIntyre in a very hard-hitting European-style Intercontinental title match. Lou, why don't you start us off?
I don't know, man. This match, to me, wasn't really all that. I love Drew McIntyre. He's a great performer, great big guy. The way he moves, like jumps over the top rope, and that's awesome, man. I wish he would have won. I like to see him as a champ. I don't see the big deal with Gunther, man. I don't see it. And maybe I'm a blind eye to it, man. I don't see like all this props he's getting. Everybody makes a big deal of how great he is and this and that, and he's future, blah blah blah. I'm like, man, I don't see it, man. It's a bore fest to me, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the match at all.
It might be probably like that style of wrestling isn't your cut. Like his style of wrestling, like he's just a big dude who hits really hard. But he's really
I do like that, when he does the chop, and and I don't like the way he pins people.
Yeah.
It's kind of spicy, and it doesn't work for me.
The NC-17 pin for
you? He pins guys in the hucklebuck. It's a little weird to me.
What was that again? Say that again.
he puts guys in the hucklebuck, and the way he pins them. Call that the hucklebuck.
Did they teach that in El Segundo, the hucklebuck?
This we're going. You're coming to the ring with me. I need a new finisher.
You'll win every match. You'll win if you do that. That and the roll up from behind always wins.
Oh, well, that the roll up. We do that. The Rudos do that. We do that. That's
all day.
I wanted Drew McIntyre to win that match, but I know that Gunther's the guy right now. And he'll probably be IC champ for a while too.
Well, they're doing something there. I don't know. The thing about this is the third match I was going to mention where you got to wonder what are they doing with Drew McIntyre? That was a 12 to 15-minute match.
That's another question I have.
When I left watching from the armchair, I said to myself, what's going on with Drew? Because he just got beat in 12 minutes. This was the guy that held the flag during COVID as the WWE champion. I have the greatest respect for Drew McIntyre. He never got the money he should have got because there were no house shows. There were no merchandise buys unless it was online. He was just being the champ during COVID. And it sucked.
Yeah.
And he was great. And he's tremendous. This was a match where it was boring. It was forgettable. It was hard hitting. I'm not saying they didn't work hard, but I said 12 minutes for what on paper should have been maybe the best match of the night with Gunther, who is a good worker. So this left me in the same way of saying, I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Drew's gone. I don't know because I don't cover people's status. But to me, I said, did he just say, I'll do the job and I'll be gone? I'm going to take a break, or I'm leaving, or my contract's gone. You have nothing for me creatively. Or is he going to come back super badass heel? I don't know. This was a match that the finish made, I like clean finishes, but I just said to myself, they didn't do any favors to Drew. So that was
a dominant clean finish.
That makes me think they got nothing for him, and that's another person who may not be around for a while.
That was
before
clothesline, power bomb, get out.
It was. I was when I watched it, I said, "What? Wait a minute! No comeback, no nothing." And so yes, they're pushing Gunther to the moon, but the only way that could happen is if they paid Drew a lot of money to do that service, and say, "All right, we'll see you. Maybe you'll come back after the Rumble or something." I don't know. There's something. It'll be interesting if we hear that Drew doesn't show up on TV for a while, and then he's gone.
But he was actually gone for a while.
Yeah.
He had an injury. He had a major injury, though. That's my understanding.
But he returned.
But I did hear some rumblings about his contract too.
Yeah, he returned for this so he lost the Clash at the Castle.
Yes.
Lost at WrestleMania. Went away. Returned for this match and lost.
That usually means you're finishing up.
Yeah, what do you do with that?
What that means is you're finishing up and you're agreeing, look, I'll finish up, I'll do jobs for everybody. And not because you're going to go anywhere else. I'm finishing up.
Yeah.
And that's because the company says, hey, we don't really have a lot for you. If you want, you can tag with Sheamus and we'll do some stuff. And he's like, that's not really for me. Like I said, Rousey, Brock, and Drew are the three people out of this pay-per-view. I said, I don't know if we're going to see these people anymore. Maybe Brock, but the other two I think are, because like you said, historically, when you see somebody do all these jobs, what are you going to do? He's now a jobber, an upper mid-card jobber. This guy was the heavyweight champ, and he was badass.
Jobbers don't look like him. Jobbers don't look like that.
So there's only two things. Usually when somebody does those jobs, like you alluded to, it's either they're gone, finishing up, or they're going to repackage and they're going to go the opposite way and become badass heels.
But for who? That's the thing. Where is in this, with Roman being the champ? Okay, assuming they're sticking to SmackDown roster, Raw roster, which will change next month. Assuming that stays, where does a badass heel go on the same show as Roman?
Excellent point. That's why the math doesn't work.
Yeah, there's 2 + 2 is not 4.
Yeah.
And then And then if it is done for Drew in WWE, do you really see Drew anywhere else? I mean, is AEW something that he'll go to? I don't know. I don't see it. It doesn't feel right for me. But maybe
he worked a strong
pop.
He worked a strong match, so he didn't look like he was hiding an injury or something. Like, sometimes guys will work a match and you can see they're not at full strength, and that means they're going to go off and get a shoulder cleaned up or a knee done or something. The Drew story is, we know Rousey's probably gone. She wants to have another family. And I think Brock, I'm going to surprise you at the end of this, what I think Brock's going to do. But I think Drew is gone.
Yeah. I never thought about that till you brought it up, but it makes sense because there's nothing for him to do.
And he's been jobbing for the last four months,
Yeah. No job. It's a shame. Such a shame. Great talent. Two more great talents. Seth Rollins, once again, theme song, Push to the Moon. Seth Rollins defeating Finn Balor for the WWE World Heavyweight title. There's so many titles, man. And they changed everything. I don't know what's what. That's just because this website says it. That's the only reason I said that. For the new belt on Raw, that will say that. Yet another. Okay, this is gonna sound bad, but I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this match. Can we just talk about how great Rhea Ripley is? Can we just talk about how absolutely amazing she is?
She is. I wish Ray was here because we just had a conversation about her.
Well, I can't speak for Ray, but I'm telling you right now, El Santana has seen them all. And Rhea Ripley is the best talent in the company, men or women combined. She's another once in a lifetime. She's been trained. She's phenomenal. She is, when I watch her, I go, you'll never see another one like it. She's not just good, very good. She is, I would make an argument, she is the best talent the company has. Now, of course, she's a woman and they showcase her as a valet, a manager, a wrestler. She's doing everything because she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And her mannerisms, she's always, she's just everything she does. It's just, there's nothing I've never seen her. She's fantastic at everything she does. And she's the best the company has. I don't know what you do with someone like that because the company is so geared towards the male athlete, but you got to have more female wrestlers that she can work through, like Rodriguez and Charlotte Flair, but she's just and the other thing about her is you can't get your eyes off her. She's on that screen, whether she's on the side of the ring or not. You just can't keep your eyes off her. She is that amazing. I can't even remember anybody. The only thing close to her would be maybe a Sherry Martel in her heyday. Scary Sherry was she was fascinating and crazy, but she worked like a Moolah style. She wasn't a great athlete. This woman can out wrestle some of the men.
I just like how she steps up to dudes and they're like, no, we don't want none.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you going to do? And they're like, nah, we're good.
What she did to me was really, she's impressed me really since she got called up, man. I couldn't wait till she became champ, man. She's awesome. What really impressed me with her lately is when she put, what's the girl name on NXT? She was on NXT, fought that girl that was the NXT champion, Perez. Is it Perez?
Yeah.
Yeah. That match she had with her was, man, she put her over. That match was awesome, man. That was a great match. I went back and watched it again, man. And for Rhea Ripley to do something like that at NXT is that's commendable. You know what I mean? I was really impressed by that.
There would be no Judgment Day without her. She's the thing. That's because to be honest, I think it's fun. I think it's interesting. I think it's wild what they did to Edge, and they kind of just kicked him to the side and pulled the rug out. But she's why you watch Judgment Day. When I see them on, I go, oh, I want to see Rhea Ripley.
Oh, she's a leader, no question. She's
and,
they haven't said it, but we know she's the leader of Judgment Day.
Yeah. And I don't know what they're doing. I mean, you never know how things work in the locker room, trust me. But the point is, you sit there and go, WrestleMania should have been Trish Stratus versus Rhea Ripley. That would have been the greatest match, and Rhea could have got bumped all over the place for Trish and then beat her. And that would have solidified her, as one of the last great ladies champion, passing the torch to Rhea. You just wonder why that match never happened at the last WrestleMania. It just blows your mind that she's still being used sparingly. When I go, my God, I'd put her on the top of the 9 o'clock hour on every Monday night. She just,
I expected her to be more, quote unquote, the fighting champion. She hasn't, she fought at NXT, but it's not like every Monday. She's not fighting every Monday. She might have a little scuffle with what's her name, but and get involved in matches with the Judgment Day, but she hasn't really had a fight, a match for a little bit now, in the on Raw. So I don't know what that's about, but
I don't know either.
I think she should fight more. I think they have her fight more,
You just don't know. You just don't know. But it's just she's amazing. She's amazing. She's not like a valet or she's more than that. And it's just like I said, right now I don't think they're utilizing her. Maybe they're saving her something big. I don't know.
But they're building her up. They're building her for the Michelle Rodriguez shit, which I don't mind at all, man. I like her too. I like Michelle Rodriguez. I just felt like
she's like the perfect foil to
she came in, when she was in NXT, she was the big girl on campus, she was the tough girl, and she didn't take no crap. And then she got to the WWE. I mean, she got called up, and it's kind of like, she's kind of a little bit too glamour-y now, and and all smiles and stuff. You know what I mean?
That's what they do to the face. That's what they do to face women. They tell face women.
Yeah. I think they're gonna bring her back to that whole NXT gimmick where she was the tough girl, and I think that'd be a good rival with her and Rhea. I think that's a good one.
It's gonna have to be because they ain't got nobody else.
And I think Rhea Ripley is definitely carrying the weight of Dom on her shoulders, man. He is who he is now. He's getting over, but like as the guy that nobody likes, and being booed, he's getting over that way, But a lot of that is because him and Rhea Ripley have great chemistry. Yeah. The whole mommy and poppy thing is awesome. It takes us back to Eddie Guerrero and Vagina.
I remember that.
I like that, man. I like that. I love it. I love it. But we were talking about Seth Rollins and what's his face.
Well, ain't that something? That's what Rhea Ripley does.
I just didn't have much to say about the match because it's the same thing we've seen.
It was a disappointing match.
Comes out and they're miscommunicating, and he loses the match clean again. Like
it was a filler match. With the talent of those two guys, they could have tore the house down. They elected not to. They saved it for other people. And the storyline continues. I think Damian Priest is another big star.
Yeah,
but they got to be careful with him. Because he looks like a young Roman Reigns to me, and he's got great, he's got great showmanship again with the facial expressions and stuff. But this was a disappointing match because with those two guys, they should have done anything they wanted. And I just I don't know about Seth. I love Seth. Seth's great. He's a national treasure. I've said that before, but he's like this weird persona. I just don't. Sometimes he comes out looking like if you're a big fan of Spider-Man, he reminds me of the Kraven the Manhunter. He comes out looking like Kraven the Manhunter with the leopard stuff, and I say he's crazy. And so and he plays the tweener role good. So and he can work.
Yeah, he has that good balance of heel and
But this was a very forgettable match. There's not much to say.
Yeah, we've seen this one before.
That's why I want to talk about Rhea Ripley, because it's like, okay, they lose, he loses clean. Okay, that's whatever.
Rhea.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
Next, schmaz of everything. So I'll do both. Bianca Belair defeats Charlotte Flair and Asuka to win the WWE Women's World Title, only to be cashed in by Io Sky, who is now the WWE Women's World Title.
All right, let's get to the main event.
Yeah, I watched this match, and first off, I'm as a pure wrestler such as yourself, El Santana, the amount of botches with those three people was bad. Like, it was.
I hate to say this, it was
bad. And then the whole schmaz of my knee hurts, but I can still do a 450 off the top rope. Like, come on, right?
I'm not happy with the way the company runs the women, and a lot of times they do three-way dances. They have to be done very well, or they look horrible, and that's what happened here.
Yeah.
And so their styles are not compatible for a three-way dance, and so it was a sloppy match, very forgettable. I'm not a Bianca Belair fan. There's something about her. She oversells her emotions, so she looks kind of cheesy. I don't know what the word is. She doesn't look genuine. Charlotte looks like she don't has any body fat on her body anymore. She's just looking like she's hitting the ring. She looks amazing, but she looks so hard. And plus there was no storyline or heat for this. A three-way dance, there's, it just, I said, what is the purpose of this? And it conveyed, and I don't think they were prepared for the match. They'd have been better off just having a one-on-one in any combination.
Yeah.
Well, the whole
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I didn't watch the fight. I mean, that match. I kind of got sidetracked, but as I sat down to watch it, it had just ended, and that's when I seen Io Sky cash in, which, by the way, I have no problem with.
No.
I have no problem with her cashing in and being the champ right now.
Yeah.
Where they go with her, that I would like to see. I'm excited to see where they take her. That girl is talented.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see her. She has a bright future, man. Which I'm pretty sure is somewhere along the line. Damage Patrol is probably going to disband, and I'm pretty sure they're going to do the like Evolution did Randy Orton, and then they're gonna, and I think that that's gonna become a thing.
And don't forget Bailey.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Anytime
saying?
Bailey's on, the
culo.
The culo is definitely there.
Man.
The camera captures. The camera captures it all.
Jeez,
it's so funny, man. On social media, man. Like, I know I don't know if you guys are on TikTok, but there's like TikTok pages just dedicated to Bailey, man, and they're always the shot. You know what I mean? It's always there, and that's like they concentrate on that.
Man, that pay-per-view was Bailey showed up and herself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, man, what's going on there?
And I've always said that, even when she was the pom pom girl and all that, I was always like, damn, Bailey boy.
And El Santana
is not complaining. Don't get me wrong.
El Santana like very much. El Santana,
man.
Segundo.
Last thing I'll say, that we'll move on. The thing that really upset me is like the whole lead up to this. They were thinking about turning Bianca heel, and then they never did. I want to see her have a good main roster heel run, and just see where that goes. Because
she's too baby face.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's too.
And I said a year ago she needs some edge to herself, and she still hasn't used it. So you're right.
Still hasn't.
She plays like if this makes sense, but I don't know if this makes sense. But she plays the role too good, like too much. You know what I mean? Like
too much.
You know, I get the vibe she's going for, but it's like she does it just a little too
You know
much.
what's funny?
Far.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
I've been watching wrestling all my life, and back in the day when we were kids, if a wrestler hurt their leg and was getting help and getting attended to, and they crawled back in the ring and won, people lose their mind. Now you get booed for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny how we come around. That used to be an old classic baby face move. Now you go, boo, you know, your leg's shot.
But the thing is, it's like but you have to do it right. Like if you're gonna hobble and then come back and do a 450 off the top,
it's stupid.
First of all, it took you 6 minutes to climb the top rope, so we're trying to sell that it hurts, and then
so stupid. Look at in '92 Rumble, Bret Hart, who got Owen turned on him, and he missed the Rumble, and then he came later with a leg, and he's crawling with one leg, and he still gets into the Rumble and wrestles with one leg, and he wins the Rumble, but he's got one leg, and it looked really good. He's barely, everybody's beating him up. And when it was time to come out for the Rumble, nobody came out. And they're like, well, that was probably Bret Hart, but he's hurt now thanks to what Owen did. That's what you do when you sell the leg.
That's how you sell it.